Once upon a time, two men decided if they were making the cut. And then they made the cut. And now JT and Aaron are talking everything from wrestling to pop culture and beyond. Because it's no holds barred.
Will you back down, turn and run? Or stand up with the best? When your back's to the wall, what will your answer be? Will you run for the door? Will you run out on me like it's hard?
It's a no holds barred.
Take the holds and you make them not the barred.
Not the barred. You're not the barred. No.
You're not the barred.
No, not the barred. We're here every Saturday on No Holds Barred, both video and audio. Aaron and JT, all kinds of stupid shit going on in this podcast.
That's all we do.
We love it, Bobby. We love you. We are, of course, 1 week away from WrestleMania this year, WrestleMania 40. North-South has crushed the content this year for WrestleMania season. It is nuts. Ryan and I, 1 week left. We're going to finish this fucking countdown. All 402 matches, 1 minute or less, each one of them. Aaron, we did a really fun installment on the Countdown series. We touched on the Ultimate Warrior.
Yes.
We did the top 40 performers. We've had a bunch of luminaries doing these. We brought Scott Keith out of Mothballs. It's been a lot of fun doing those. And, of course, we've been previewing all the WrestleMania matches as well, plus all of our usual content. We've just been one after the other here at the North-South Connection. So check it both out, Podbean and here on YouTube. Spread the love. We're trying to hit 500 subs by WrestleMania Saturday. If you can help us get there, we'll love you a long time. All right.
If you subscribe, we'll send you $40.
Yeah, in Canadian.
Checks will not be on it.
And COD. Twice a month, we're here ranking every World Wrestling Federation Entertainment World Title Change of all time. We are now kicking off a brand new calendar year, 2002, with the first title change of that year, and that is at WrestleMania 18. Triple H challenging Chris Jericho. Our last one, we saw Jericho win the belt at Vengeance,
which was underwhelming.
Yeah, just a bit. So we are paused on the clock at 3:17:34. We get the graphic of the Undisputed Championship.
Undisputed Championship.
So we're going to get it fired up. Let's just get right in. And as we get going, Aaron, you can tell us what the categories we rate this in. But let's get going at 3, 2, 1, play.
So if you've been following this project, you know we each rank these in 5 categories. So that being match quality, significance, the moment, build, and aftermath or aftermag. And as one does, we each give a score out of 10, gives us a nice round score out of 100. Our range right now is 94 at the top and 16 at the bottom. My God, speaking of range, Stephanie is just popping out of that dress there. And yeah. Triple H is so wet. I have never seen him so wet in my life. He spits the water. He's usually oiled up, but you don't usually see the water as though he's just come out of the shower.
No, it's a lot. He's soaked. I think this is an all-time Stephanie look. I put it up there. Honestly, it's probably one of my favorites. I like pre-boob job Stephanie a lot. But I think this is one of her best outfits and looks is at the show. The aqua really, it's kind of one of the things that jumps out at me when I think of this Mania, the main event.
Also, one of the all-time bad Jericho looks. There's just something about his tights that looks so plain compared to what he normally wears.
Yeah, it looks more mid-card than usual.
Yeah, and he's in the main event. He's main eventing after Hulk Hogan and The Rock. Which, is the obvious talking point of this match, right?
It starts the trend of Triple H closing WrestleMania that it shouldn't be. There's at least, 3 more after this? 25, 32. 30, 32. Is there another one? I feel like there's another one. Maybe not.
No, I don't think so. Well, he underwhelms at 21, but it's not as egregious.
No, you can't really argue. That's fine.
But yes and no, because the match structure is the problem, and for sure he did it. So,
right, but that was the right choice going in to main event with that match. Whereas the other two, you could argue. And the problem with Triple H Orton, I think you could have argued it's fine because no one knew Taker Sean was going to be that good.
Yes.
But they fucked the match up because the build was red hot. If they deliver on the match, that's fine.
Yeah. They should have
This
just made
one's
it no
pretty
DQ.
egregious.
It should have been a blood feud. Yeah, well, this one, I mean, you got Hogan and The Rock coming back. Come on. Like,
Right. I mean, I know, again, you probably didn't realize how good it was going to be. And I think they got duped by that MSG and the Rumble pop and moment by Triple H, thinking like,
yeah,
this is going to be, you know.
well, everyone was just
All
happy
right.
he was okay. Like, we don't want him to, like, we didn't really
Right.
like him that much, but we didn't want him to
Right.
be hurt. Now we want him to be hurt. So if I'm not mistaken, part of the story that they're going with here is that Triple H's quad was injured by Jericho. And so now he's got it wrapped up here and Jericho's attacking it. But that didn't play into the build of the match for whatever reason.
No, and it's such a natural story because, yes, Triple H tore his quad in May of 2001 in the walls of Jericho on the table. When Triple H comes back, Jericho happens to be champion, so he wins the Rumble to get revenge on him. The story's simple. Instead, they introduced the pregnancy thing with Stephanie. Then we got the fucking
renewal
dog.
of the vows.
It made like it's all, and actually that vow renewals it's a good segment. It's actually not bad, but
Sure.
after that, it should have ended like that. That should have been done. Having Stephanie then with Jericho, who she hates, the whole thing just makes Jericho look like a bitch. Like he needed Vince's help to win the title. Now he needs Stephanie's help to get at Triple H. Like
He's killing dogs.
he's such a weak champion going into this.
Yeah. But it just goes to speak, like, he just wasn't ready for this position.
Right.
Like, and I don't necessarily mean him. I mean, him as a character was not set up well enough to be this champion, because just 3 months, or let's say 6 months before this now, he's like, oh, he never wins. That was his whole story, is he never wins.
Right.
And now he's going to come in here and not win. I'm glad that in the match where Triple H's leg is the one that's injured, Jericho is doing the leg selling and Triple H is attacking the leg. It's good.
Right.
It's good that it follows the natural structure of the story of the match. Because if someone killed my dog, I would definitely be giving him kicks behind the knee.
Again, it's a Triple H thing where it's the same as the Orton match. The match doesn't, the way the match is wrestled doesn't hit the structure of the build in any way, which is why I think Triple H just being mad and wanting to destroy Jericho's leg after Jericho destroyed his is such a,
you
know,
100%. And it plays right into like, I'm the cerebral assassin, right? You did this
right.
to me.
You took my leg. I'm going to destroy yours.
Yeah.
And it would have been cool if he even won. Right. If he even won without the pedigree in this match, would have been cool. Like I'm just going to wreck your leg, pedigree you on your knee, and then beat you with the figure four. Like something like that would have been cool.
That would have been great. Instead, here he's brutalizing Stephanie.
But she's such a good heel that it's like it also works, but they just made Jericho look like her bitch. Like if they would have built it as like Jericho's like, fuck you, you can come along for the ride, but I'm driving the ship, right? Like you're gonna be my bitch now because you've been treating me like shit for a year.
Yeah, that's not happening with Stephanie McMahon.
No, I know, but
or
have Stephanie come out. Have Stephanie come out against Jericho's wishes. Like Jericho could have been like, I want no part of you, leave me alone. And then she just comes out anyway, and Triple H gives her a comeuppance anyway, like because she just wants her revenge on him.
You could have two stories happening at once.
Yeah.
I don't know, like even dragging her in the ring and stuff, like it's just all clunky. And Triple H, again, it just feels he's not ready for this length of a match.
Right.
Like it's just, like he came back so much bigger than he left, right? It was not the same person at all. And like, I wonder if that's why he does it to Scott Steiner the next year. Well, they fucked me this year, so.
I mean, if they had, Stephanie looks great. If they had done, if Hogan Rock wasn't as great as it was, do you think this is not as egregious? If Hogan Rock is like 3-star, like, oh, it's fun, the crowd isn't as like, if it's just not the spectacle it ends up being.
Sure. It certainly makes the decision a lot better. I think if Hogan and Rock is not as great as it was, this is an all-time worst Mania.
Yeah.
Which
it already is based on some of the tier lists we've been doing.
That's it. But like it's not one of those, you have to think about it to see if it's bad, right?
Yeah.
But like I think if Hogan Rock isn't the all-time classic, it's like, oh, there's nothing on this card.
Yeah. Oh, so let me flip that question around. If this is swapped places on the card with Hogan Rock, does it feel better?
For sure. because
Right, it's not as much pressure.
yeah, and you're not coming down from like anything after an all-time classic is not going to look as good. Like
Yeah.
it's just a fact. I can't think of a show that has two classics back to back.
10
it's
is the closest.
but it's-
10 is
But it's at the beginning and it's the first match and the second and last match, right?
I know.
Like that one,
Well, these are
Many-
this is a match. Is there one or two between these? There's a couple, isn't there? Is a tag
One.
after Hogan? Oh, there's only one, just the women.
I think it's just one, yeah.
I always think the
But-
tags after, but you might be right.
But it's again, WrestleMania 10 is different because it's structured in a
Yeah.
way that he's coming back to wrestle. Like it makes sense in the context of what it is, right?
Well, I meant Brett Owen and Razor Shawn, but yes.
But that's what I mean is that you have to put one at the beginning and one at the end. Otherwise,
Maybe 8, Piper, Brett, and it's not 5, but it's really great. Piper, Brett, and Savage Flair are like a match apart. That's probably like the closest. Maybe.
But here's the thing: is I think Savage Flair is a better match.
Yeah.
So,
but you're just saying, when do they ever have two classics together? Like that's.
Oh yeah, but it's
that's
not
one.
together. There's a 10-man in between it.
But this has the women's in between. Is my point.
Yeah.
But all that said, you actually could have made Jericho look stronger if you have this in the middle, and you have Jericho retained by like even if it's a DQ or something, and then you build him up as champion more and have Triple H beat him at Judgment Day or something like that. You could have done that too.
Yeah, but then Triple H doesn't get his moment. And look, no one gets less moments than Triple H. No one's had more. No one's had less like investment in his character than Triple H.
I mean, we've booked this card a million ways. I feel like over the last year, I've never rebooked a show more than I've rebooked WrestleMania 18. But it's like there's just so many better options you could do. We've talked about ad nauseum that it should have been RVD and Austin, should have been Angle and Triple H, and then Jericho, whatever you want to do, Hogan, Rock, and then find something for Jericho, or even do a triple threat: Jericho, Angle, Triple H would have been fine because the three of them are kind of paired off together.
Or just do Jericho RVD and have Triple H with the NWO.
Yeah, if you want to do that too.
Or Triple H Austin. Or there's a lot of options.
No, you could do Triple H Angle still.
You could.
But I think RVD Austin to me was the match. That's what built all fall. Like, and they never blow it off. Like that's the match. RVD wins the Rumble, and then an Angle screws Triple H in the Rumble, and then Triple H, takes on Angle, or Jericho.
And then it makes sense for Stephanie to join Angle.
Yes. Or you could still do Triple H Jericho. It's just not for the title because he wants revenge on the leg. You can still do that too if you want.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of ways it could have went on this card.
And the style, again, it's the style of match. Like this is so far, it's a regular match. And it doesn't even feel like a main event match. It just feels like slow and plodding. Like, is this the first big slog Triple H main event?
Yes.
Like
this is first one. I mean, 16 kind of is, but
this guy, I don't just mean WrestleMania. I mean like in anything.
I don't know. I'd have to think real quick, but probably because most of his stuff in 2000 is great.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Vince at Armageddon 99, I guess, is kind of
but there's drama in that. People care.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely his first Mania one for sure.
I do like that every time Triple H tries to pin Jericho, Stephanie tries to reach in. Like her arm is in the ring on every cover attempt. And it making me laugh because like what is she hoping to accomplish with that? But here, look, this match has been going like 8 minutes, and both guys are exhausted.
Right.
Like that's the problem. That's a big
Well,
problem.
and it sucks because we've seen great matches, right? Like they had one at Fully Loaded 2000, which was awesome. Like Jericho and Triple H, right? The last man standing. And it's like, they have it in them, but it's such in the Raw match with the Phantom title change. Like those were two awesome matches in 2000 with these two guys. And then even the tag in 01 is like, they have great chemistry in that. It's just, to your point, they just weren't, Jericho, and what got lost in this as well, is he changed his style. Because, he started doing the Mickey Abbott. He started heightening in 01, right? I think he felt like I'm not going to get to that next level unless I bulk up, I look bigger, I look taller, right? So he gets away from his kind of smaller man moveset that carried him through a lot of matches. into that point. So it's like suddenly you have him wrestling a bigger style and Triple H more plotting because of the muscle he packed on coming off the injury, rusty. It was just a recipe for a tough night.
Yeah, no kidding.
And the match is structurally fine. It's just not a WrestleMania main event structure.
Right. Well, that's it. That's the problem, is that it's not a WrestleMania structured match.
I mean, to this point, how many Mania main events are worse than it? Taker, Sid, Bret Yoko at 10.
At 10, yeah, but that one's kind of like, that one is actually excusable in some ways because you know, they're tired. It's
I mean, I'm not gonna really count Hogan, Yoko, whatever. Hogan, Sid.
No, I think Hogan Sid is better than this. Like, I don't get why people are down on Hogan Sid. And that's just not my fandom talking. I just don't get it.
I mean, I think Hogan Bundy is at least better, if not equitable.
Yeah, the story going in is way better.
16?
16 is worse than this, I think, because it's so long and you don't really get anywhere with it. And I don't just mean because Triple H wins. I mean because
So I had that at 3.5 actually, and I'm not gonna have this at 3.5. So I think this might be worse. And I've watched that recently, so it's not like an old grade or anything.
Right.
I mean, I had Hogan Sid at like 2.25, which I think this is going to be above that.
That's way too low on Hogan Sid.
You're too low.
Not on Hogan Sid.
Yeah, actually, I had a 2 last I watched it.
We
weren't doing quarters when I watched it.
Look, I have Hogan Sid at 3.25. Like, it's not like I think it's a 5-star match, but like, to me, it's like super fun, and I don't get the hate at all. I look, I think the only one in the real conversation is the Sid
Taker. Yeah, and that I had at 2.25. I think this will be better than that. And Bret Yoko. I think Bret Yoko as a match is in the conversation. As a moment, it's better. As a match, though, it's like that. I had at 2.75. So,
right.
My guess, I'm going to be around 3 on this. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think of them trying to redo the table spot with the?
I like it. At least there's some threading to the story.
Yeah. I don't know why. Is this a no DQ match?
I don't know. They made every fucking main event a no DQ.
I know, but I'm asking because there's so much distracting by Stephanie going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why.
It's so focused on her. Like, and again, she looks great. She's a good as a heel, but it's like they just keep showing her and showing her. I'll tell you what they should have done. Here's what they should have done. If they wanted to not do, if they wanted to keep this is the title match, Hogan Rock, and not do RVD, fine. Close with Hogan Rock. Just make this a fucking handicap match for the title. And Triple H beat Stephanie to win the belt. Like, pedigree Stephanie and stacks her on Jericho and pins her, something like or like wipes Jericho out, pedigree Stephanie and pins her. And then at least you end the feud and it like makes some sense in there. And Jericho could say, you forced me into this stupid fucking match. You cost me my title, right? And like, at least then there's something to it. And then you put that in the middle. Because they're all focusing on Stephanie anyway.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. And then have Austin and RVD fight just one-on-one.
I mean, they still could have done that anyway. Yeah, even not for the title, right? Because Austin just fights Hall and RVD Regal could have waited. Right.
Well, and at this point, honestly, like Regal is a downgrade for RVD.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean because it's Regal, it's the Intercontinental. Like a couple months earlier, he's fighting for the world title.
Yeah. The only thing that prevents that is that they turned Austin face. But even then, you could be like, hey, RVD shows up backstage. Hey, like, I know you changed your ways since the alliance, but I never got my shot. Like, let's go. We never had a one-on-one match. You know, let's do it at WrestleMania and show up.
Yeah. And I bet that match is fucking great too. Yeah. Like, instead of Regal and Regal and RVD, which is fine, and Hogan and not Hogan, Austin and Hall, which is fine. Like, you get at least one more.
And what you could do is, I know Nash gets hurt, but you could have hit him put them in the tag match and have them win the belts in the 4-way. That's how the NWO takes over. Have them win the tag titles. Just say, this is how we started in WCW. We won the tag belts.
Or don't have them wrestle on the card, which I know is crazy. Have them help Triple H win and have them form a group.
Yeah, you could do that too. Or just have him come out with Hogan. I mean, just whatever. Have him out there.
Yeah.
In that match.
And at the end, like they Triple H helps on the beatdown with Hogan because that's where we're going anyway. And within a month, he's a heel. It's 2 months, he's a heel again. Like, look, the structure is sound. It's like Triple H keeps trying to hit the pedigree, and every time he tries, Jericho keeps trying to hit him in the leg.
And so now he takes out Stephanie because she's been a problem. That's the big pop. That's the big moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I do appreciate Stephanie trying to get him to tap.
It's been fine. Like it's more that it's hampered by. That's a good chair shot too. It's more that it's hampered by the position of the card. I mean, if you flop this with Hogan Rock, exactly, just flip them exactly where they are. Nothing else changes. I think it's looked that way better. Yeah, like in a vacuum, I think this match is better than it gets credit for. In a vacuum,
yeah, but sadly, it doesn't exist in a vacuum.
No, I know, but for this project, it kind of does a little bit.
Well, it won't because we're going to talk about all the other stuff that goes around it, right? Like you could for match quality. The problem too is it's fine, but it's not really good.
Well, so I just looked back on War. We did this not long ago in the last year. I had it at 3.5.
Yeah.
And I'm not that far off right now watching it again. The crowd is into it too. It's not like it's a dead crowd. It's like the Reigns one or the other one. I mean,
I just really don't like how long it's going for what it is.
It's over. I mean, it's only 18 minutes. That's not like of all the Triple H fucking stupid main events, I think it's the best of like what went wrong. Like he gets worse as it goes. Like the Orton match is longer and more stupid. And then the Reigns is like really fucking stupid and long.
Yeah.
I'm good in the 3.25, 3.5 range. I don't think I'm backing off that much watching it again.
I'm like around a 2.
That
2.25. Yeah, because to me, like it was to me, it's boring. It's not exciting. So look, my baseline for a match, I'm sure I've told you this before. My baseline is like 2.5, right? If you're competent and you put on the match and you don't expose the business and it's like, it's not, I don't really feel one way or the other. It's 2.5. It's kind of how I feel about this, except I think it's boring. So that's why it gets knocked down a little bit. So maybe 2.25. Like, but
I don't know. I didn't think it was that boring. For War, I watched the whole show and I watched it with the sound and I went 3.5. So I'm not gonna watching it talking to you with the sound like low. Like I'm not gonna change my grade that much because I feel like that's recent enough for me to stick with. Now, for the construct of this project, I'm gonna go 6 more than 7 because I think it's like a low 3.5.
Yeah.
So 6 feels more likely to me.
I'm gonna give it. Here's the thing. I don't think it's a 4, so I'm gonna give it a 5.
Right.
For match quality. So we're not far off, at least.
Significance to me is low.
It's got to be because number 1, Triple H loses the title the next month, right? Number 2, it's a foregone conclusion match. Number 3, it's nobody's first win or loss or anything like that. Yeah, 2 is fine.
Just that it's his return from the quad and he wins the belt. I mean, like there's something in there, but
I guess, but they do such a poor job. Like he's less popular here than he was when he came back, right?
But it is his first. It is his first world title win and reign as a face. So maybe that Jericho's first Mania main event.
He's not a good face.
Is it Jericho's only Mania main event? It's his only Mania main event.
Yeah. Which he shouldn't have had. The moment. I like Triple H celebrating when he wins.
The pedigree on Stephanie was good.
Yeah. It's upstaged by the moment earlier in the night. And it's almost not its fault, but I'm going to go 3 on the moment.
Yeah. I was debating 4, but probably 3.
I think the build is... Yeah. Do we do zeros? Like,
No, I'm going to give him the 1 because at least Jericho versus Triple H makes sense at its core, and the build leaks
Right.
into the match a bit with the leg and the quad, all that shit. Like, but the dog and all that stuff is fucking terrible.
it's terrible. I think the aftermath is pretty close to a 1 also.
Yeah, because I don't even remember. Like, do they build to
do.
him and Hogan, or is it just like they just say it's going to happen?
It's to do with the draft. Because like it's supposed to be Taker. Taker comes out all
Yeah,
angry.
that's right. And they change it.
But not only that is none of these guys get drafted, and then they fight one more time. I think they do the handicap match you're talking about.
Well,
right?
we're going to watch it in our next episode, so we'll see what they do, right? Because Hogan, that's a change. So we're going to watch. There's a lot in 02. We're going to be in 02 for a while.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think at least we don't have to watch the world title stuff, but I would say
I'm going 1.
I'll go 2.
Okay.
I think it's a little bit with Hogan. Yeah, they team up against the NWO and all that. Yeah.
Right. So that gives us a score of 25.
26.
And I tell you what, my friend,
I have it
that
at
is
26.
not gonna.
What are you missing? Yeah,
26?
what am I missing? Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
26.
26. Excuse me. Let me just double check that. Anyway, that doesn't actually change anything in our rankings.
Yeah.
26. Oh, yeah, you hadn't punched it in yet. That's all it was. Okay, so that lands Triple H and Chris Jericho. Of the 64 we have done, 61.
I mean, that's the only things behind it are Mankind, Rock at Rumble 99, which we despise because of the stupid headshot stuff. Hogan, Yoko at 9. And then Pedro Stasiak, which we didn't even have footage for.
Yeah.
Really. So it's the worst like regular match that we've done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
I mean, Hogan Taker at Survivor Series 91 is right, and Over the Edge 99.
Why don't we go through our bottom 10?
Yeah, let's do that this time.
Okay, because we always go through the top 10. Let's go through the bottom 10. I don't know if we don't have a graphic, but the 10th best, 10th worst WWF title change. Ultimate Warrior versus Sergeant Slaughter from the 91 Rumble with 34 points.
9th is Bruno Sammartino versus Ivan Koloff with 32. And we should qualify. Some of these older ones were like choppy footage or clips, so we kind of just guessed at some of it. So you almost have to throw those out of the mix in a way.
That's it. 8, The Rock, Big Show, Triple H from Survivor Series 99 with 32. I can't believe we went that low on that. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot wrong with that. Bruno versus Stan Stasiak with 31 points.
Mm-hmm. That was 7. So 6 is Steve here, Over the Edge 99. Steve Austin, The Undertaker with 30.
Then Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker is 5th from Survivor Series 91, also with 30.
4th worst here we go. 4th worst is Jericho Triple H, we just talked about, with 26.
3rd worst, Mankind and The Rock from Rumble 99 at 24.
Runner-up worst, Hogan Yokozuna from WrestleMania 9, 23.
And then our worst is Pedro Stan Stasiak at 16. But again, I don't think we even had that match to watch. And then our number 1 is still Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels from Survivor Series 97. So
yeah, that's not changing.
Yeah, I can maybe. Do I have the? If I get the graphic,
if you want to throw up the graphic, we can. But there's no change to our top 10. Number 10, The Mankind defeating The Rock, 72 points.
Yeah, 9, Austin Rock at 15, 73 points.
8, Andre Hogan, main event, 75.
7, Hogan Sheik from MSG, January 84 at 76.
6, Kurt Angle defeating Steve Austin, Unforgiven, 01, 77.
To me, that's the biggest shock on the top 10, like that hit. Number 5, Ric Flair winning the 92 Rumble at 78.
Number 4, Austin defeating The Rock at X7, 85.
Number 3, Bret Hart over The Undertaker from SummerSlam 1997 at 90.
That's a surprise to me too, because I know I'm high on it, but
well, it has so much good story stuff, you know.
It's great. Austin, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 14, 93, and
number 1 is Montreal.
Yeah.
All right. So that was fun. Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's a fine match, but everything about it, there's nothing to it. It doesn't mean anything. It's rendered useless by the end. The moment is muted because of what happened earlier. So it's just like, It just kind of exists. And I think that's going to happen with a bunch of this in O2. We'll see. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with this project. We will cover Hogan and Triple H. And I'm looking forward to watching that. I haven't watched it in a while. And I think I'm curious if my memory of it holds up, that I think it's the weakest Triple H has ever been made to look since he became the game. Pre 99, whatever. But since he became the game.
96. Yeah.
Since he became the game, I feel like it's the worst because his title reign lasts like 3 weeks. Hogan completely strips him down politically, wins the belts.
But do you remember how he wins?
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil it for you.
Is that Undertaker?
Triple H. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, he comes out. All right, so we'll save it. But
we'll get
the post match to me is what neuters him. He stands there and poses with Hogan like it didn't matter to him. And like his big face moment is winning the belt back, and they take it off him 3 weeks later. Like it completely destroys him as a face, and it makes him look like a bitch to Hogan. It's very karmic to him.
Power of Hulkamania.
Yeah, it's crazy. Wild, like so that's why I think it's like I think it's the most he ever looks weak. So it'll be curious to see if that comes through when we watch it. But
yeah,
all right, we'll be back next week. It'll be WrestleMania weekend. We're gonna do a tier list. We'll probably do something Mania related since it's Mania weekend. So we'll be back with a WrestleMania tier list. And then again, a month from today, 2 weeks from today, we'll be here with Hogan and Triple H. So subscribe, get us to 500 on YouTube at Mania. Do it for us. You can do it. I mentioned tier list. We have other great tier lists we've done for Mania. Aaron, you and I did ranking all the WrestleManias by theme, kind of vibes. Marcus and I ranked all the WrestleManias by rewatchability. So again, we have so much content to get you pumped. So you got a whole week's worth of time to build up to this year's Mania by diving in with us at the Northside Connection. So subscribe, YouTube, Podbean, socials. Dookie's drop. We'll talk to you next weekend.
See you, jockass.